Alright guys, it's been a couple months since I've done my last video, so it's time for an update. I intended to do these every month, but again, I've harped on enough on the fun and excitement of parenting to not have to do it again. I'd actually recorded this video once before and it sounded like a whiny bitch, and so I decided to record it with less whining. But the big thing that ate up most of my time were these 10 guys. And part of it, actually the majority of it, was because I went ahead and fully assembled them and put their backpacks on with all their little cables and stuff on them. And that just made painting so difficult. Oops, there we go. So difficult to get everything done. And these guys, and I'm still not happy with them. I mean, like this guy, I tried out the contrast flesh paint on him, and I did it wrong, basically, and so I need to go back and repaint him. And these guys, they all ended up looking okay. And if you were to see these on the tabletop, you wouldn't really look at them too much and worry about them. One thing I think I can do that will help them out is I can go through and where I picked out all this in a dark gray and come back with a lighter gray or a white and make that stand out a little bit more. But overall, those guys took way longer than they should have. And part of it was I would just come in and look at them and was like, I don't want to paint them, and would just sit down and do something else, or build models, or imagine what life would be like if I had all my models painted, which doesn't do anybody any good. But there are those guys, the 10 Fulgurite electro priests, and they're done. I can still find stuff to pick out on them and do stuff because they have a lot of detail, and maybe one day I'll go back and paint the gloves at something other than black rubber, but we'll see when that happens. All right, let's look at the next one. Let's bang into the camera. But I'm working on these. This one finished up the other day. Not quite all the way done. I can pick out things on these forever, and I'm going to enhance the base a little bit with some flocking, dry desert type stuff. But overall, it looks nice. I've got 2 more to get done. They're still just in this undercoat of white. All I did is I went through and painted all the silver bits black, and then painted them silver. Painted all the black bits. Painted through here. This guy. I kept all the armor plates, the thigh guards here, this part, the shield to the lenses, and the side guards here, the saddlebags. Kept them all for a while before painting them, which made things a lot easier. And did an enamel wash with MIG's enamel wash stuff for darker vehicles, or for green vehicles, and then put all the armor plates on. I do have guns for them. That was the hardest part, because those guns have the connector points for where I have the magnet is very small, and so it took a lot of very careful drilling, which I nearly screwed up on multiple occasions and just got lucky. The size drill bit I was using for this 1/8" magnet, or 1/4 inch. No, it's not 1/4 inch, it's 1/8 inch. Anyway, the size drill bit I was using was just wide enough to where the channels would go between the gun barrels and not mess up the detail on them. And that was just pretty damn lucky on a couple occasions. I've got the 3 riders that all need to be painted and put on there. They're decent. I can pick out the details on them, and he'll just sit here. And the fit is really snug, so once I get it on there to stay forever, he's definitely not going to come off. I got to pick out all the detail on him, but he'll sit there. I've got his backpack will go on, which I'm glad I kept him off so I could paint that, and then the guns will go there, and I'll be able to switch out between the twin las guns and the twin autocannons. Also worked on this guy. This is my second Dominus Tech Priest, excuse me. And he's got a few fiddly bits, like the lamp here and a couple of other stuff, the plasma effect here, and then the skull needs to be finished up. But I just kind of casually painted whenever I was using the colors on something else for what I would use on him. I would paint him at the same time. And so that got him done kind of almost by accident. And for this one, this was the other Dominus Priest was the first model that I made for the Mechanicum. And I didn't leave these arms off for him. And he was a bear to paint. And I left the arms off on this guy, and it was a cinch. So if you're building one of these, leave the arms off till the end, and then just kind of super glue them on, or model glue, whatever you want to do. But the one model that I actually spent a good deal of time on is the Sister Superior for the Sisters of Battle. It's the first real foot soldier plastic they released. And today they just released the new Immolator and Exorcist for the Sisters, and I had intentionally not planned on buying those just yet, and I'll be hard pressed not to order them on their first release day. But this was a lot of fun to paint. You have to assemble her the whole 9 yards to get her painted. You can leave the backpack off, but the way she goes together, you really need to assemble the whole of the model before you paint, primer and paint her. I did leave her off the base initially, and used painted the base separately because that's how I could get enough of the detail on there. And the candles I just painted Mephiston red with a little bit of highlighting on the red, and then the yellows, the candle is just, the flame is just painted the flames white, and then used a yellow wash, and then did the orange contrast paint just on the tips, which give it a nice little glowing effect. I just scrabbled some stuff onto the things. I really want to go over that again and try with a paintbrush tip and really thinned paint, and see if I can get something on there that looks more than third graders handwriting. But I did buy a few models in the past couple months. I ordered a couple from Hero Forge because I've been watching Dr. Faust paint up the Hero Forge stuff, and did 2 different concepts of the Centaur. One is the noble, almost druidic warrioress with spear and shield, out to conquer. And this one is kind of the sorority girl brawler, where she's been out on the town party, and you didn't call my sorority sister fat and punch you in the face, that sort of thing. I just wanted a contrast, and I picked centaurs because if I ever actually get my book written, they will be the central non-human race in the first sections of the books. And I feel they've been underserved in fantasy. At least all the fantasy I've ever read haven't really held centaurs in them, and so I felt that would be fun to do. But but there we go. There's those guys. And the other model purchase that I've made, I will show you in just a second. I'm going to have to unhook the camera from the base here and show a little bit of work. So hang on just a moment. So these models, all about 330 of them, I purchased from a friend of mine who was looking to clean out his house. And he just had all these models in there that he had inherited from his brother, who had collected them for some 30 years. And these models were not going to get built, so they were just kind of languishing. And he knew that I did modeling work, and he said, would you be interested in these? And I said, well, sure. If I can't, I know I can't paint them all. Not if I lived for an extra 50 years. Could I get all these painted? And so I'll see if I can work and find good homes for them all. And so I bought them from him at a fairly reasonable price. And I'm hoping to offload them, honestly. I found a guy that does that his specialty is the older model kits, and these are definitely older and model kits. And so I'll see if I can sell them. I'll give you guys an update next month when I come through. But yeah, that definitely not only broke my promise to myself to not buy more models than I could paint, it pretty much shattered that idea. And hopefully I can get this turned around and out of here. I'm definitely feeling the I can identify with Gandalf a lot more, where the longer you're around the ring, the more you want to possess it. And so these models I intended to just quickly turn around, and the more I look at them, I was like, wow, that's a beautiful model. That'd be fun to paint. Oh, I remember this model. Oh man, remember this plane. And so I've got to get them out quick. Anyway, I hope you guys have had a good summer. Hope you guys have enjoyed your time doing stuff, and been enjoying all the model videos I get a chance to watch. And you guys have a good evening. Adios.